So we have Evangelist Earlene Evans with us on this afternoon. She is the second oldest member of Zion, and we wanted to celebrate her on this afternoon as we look at the span. She has 91 years of life to reflect on, and she's just going to share a little bit about what life was like then, what it is like now, and in between. So, Evangelist Evans, what year were you born in?
1931,
And so from
March 28th.
March 28th, 1931. And so tell us a little bit about as a Black child in America, like, and it might not have been that you can compare it to anything else, right? Just your experience. Tell us a little bit about what life was like as a child in the 30s.
For me, to my remembrance as a child, well, I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I was educated by the Newark Public School System. I attended and graduated from Robert Treat High, Robert Treat Junior High School. And from there, I went to Westside High School, and I graduated from Westside High School in 1950. And at that particular time, it was a lot of discrimination. And we knew, we knew who was discriminated only because children would sometimes say things what they were talking about, the parents were talking about at home. They wouldn't say it to you. But when you get in a conversation, sometimes say, well, my mother said so-and-so, or my father said so-and-so. That you come from apes and monkeys and stuff like that. Teachers had discrimination also because a lot of times in classrooms and questions and things were asked, they wouldn't ask if you raise your hand to ask the question, but they just look over you and ask that white person the question, let them answer it. So more or less they were ignored more so than say, actually discriminated in any other way. So as far as education is concerned, so our parents would always tell us that you went there to learn, learn what you need to get. And, you do that. We had to overlook those things in order to get our education. So that was basically about the education. And also, I also taken courses at Essex County High School. At Essex County College, I went there and taken subjects. And after I did all that, after I got out of school, I went to and I worked for the Board of Education. I did a lot of volunteering working for the Board of Education. Then eventually, one of the workers said, "You've been volunteering so long, why don't you just, get on the payroll?" So I did finally get on the payroll. And that is where I retired from the Board of Education. Yeah, I went into having my family, and after having my family and whatnot, I decided I wanted to go to nursing school. I went to nursing school. A lot of competition in nursing school because I was competing against the younger group. They were in their 20s and I was in my 40s. So it was kind of difficult. And
As we talk about this theme of Black resistance can also include representation. So, as you think about your time in elementary school, what did your classes look like?
in elementary school, it was about half and half.
Okay.
However, in high school, now West Side is predominantly black. I mean,
Okay.
predominantly white at that time.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so it was kind of hard to get in West Side. And when you went to West Side, people looked at you like, how'd you get up there? But
And so
now,
tell us about that. So, if West Side was something, so you had to apply to go to West Side?
no, you just had to have a good grade score from, a junior high school.
Okay.
But you didn't have to apply, but they were picky. They didn't just let anybody come into West Side because up there in that area at that time, as I said, it was predominantly white. They didn't want us up there. They
Right.
didn't want us up there. Any way they could try for us not to be accepted in that school, they would do that. But if you had, a good record and good recommendation from your junior high school, they had no choice because at that time when I first started in there, they had to go by areas anyway, so they had to accept some. But
Okay.
like I said, you could count us on your hand when I went to White.
And so, even with all
It
of
was
that
kind of,
being So, with even all of that being said, what was your high school experience like? Did you participate in activities? Did you feel
yes, I did a lot of activities because, you know, I went there to learn, and I went there to not only just learn academically, I also wanted to learn, other things besides that. So I did a lot of, it was in school and after school. I had a lot of after school programs which I participated in. And we had, well, my main thing there at that particular time, I was going for sewing. And I did a lot of sewing and crocheting and knitting. I also was activities into the gymnastics.
you did gymnastics, you did all of these things, and we actually sat and talked for such a long time. And it's a shame that I can't share all of the nuggets that you share with me with everybody today. But one of the things, as we're looking at these pictures, we see that you just traveled everywhere from Jerusalem to Hawaii to Dubai to, uh, on the U.S. and in Europe, everywhere, and that you've been traveling ever since the 70s. And, you were able to share what that experience was. But I can't share everything with everybody, so I just want you to just leave us with one thing that if you think about as the Black resistance, as an individual, as a Black person in America right now, what can people do to contribute to our history, to our legacy, to our community?
I would say get involved. A lot of people say, I even think that, oh, I don't want to get involved. But you need to get involved some things in order for you to get whatever you're protesting about or whatever. In order for that to be accomplished, you have to get involved in these things. And that everything is not going to go your way all the time. But sometimes we have to compromise. Certain things you compromise. You don't compromise on all things. You always stand up on your faith and your belief. But far as living and politics and the world thing, you have to compromise sometimes, but get involved. You need to know what's going on around you. You have a voice. You have to use your voice in order to get the things that you want. You have to use your voice.